is AI? Even the smartest scientists can't agree. Have you ever heard grown-ups talk about something called AI? It's everywhere right now, on the news, in movies, and even on your phone. But here's a surprising secret. Even the scientists who build AI don't fully agree on what it is. AI stands for artificial intelligence. Artificial means made by humans, and intelligence means the ability to think and learn. So AI is when a computer does things that usually need a human brain, like recognizing your face, understanding what you say, writing a story, or answering questions. But here's where it gets tricky. How do we know if a computer is really being intelligent? Think about it this way. Imagine a student who memorizes every answer in a textbook. On test day, they get every question right. Are they smart, or did they just have a really good memory? Scientists argue the same thing with AI. Some scientists look at what AI can do and say, "Wow, this is amazing. It writes poems, solves math problems, and draws pictures. This must be real intelligence." Other scientists look at how AI works and say, "Hold on, it's not actually thinking. It's just doing a lot of very fast math." Both groups are looking at the same technology, but they see something completely different. This argument matters a lot, not just for scientists, but for all of us. AI is already being used to decide things in real life, like how much people pay for insurance, or what information comes up when you search something online. So, what if we don't understand what AI really is? How can we make sure it's being used fairly? The word AI has been around since the 1950s. Back then, scientists dreamed of building machines that could think like humans. Today, that dream feels closer than ever, but also more confusing than ever. One thing everyone agrees on AI is one of the most powerful and important technologies ever made. The big question is, what exactly have we made? Is AI really thinking or just really good at guessing? When ChatGPT appeared online in late 2022, something interesting happened. For the first time, millions of ordinary people could actually talk to an AI. Not just read about it, actually try it themselves. People asked it questions. They told it jokes. They asked it to write poems and help with homework. And it answered in sentences that sounded just like a human wrote them. But what was really going on inside? AI is like a super-powered autocomplete. You know how when you type a message on your phone and it suggests the next word? AI language models do the same thing, but on a much, much bigger scale. Programs like ChatGPT read billions of sentences from books, websites, and articles. They learn to guess, given these words, what word is most likely to come next. They practice this billions of times. The result? A program that can string words together so smoothly that it sounds like a real conversation. But then something surprising happened. A scientist named Sebastian Bubeck was testing an AI called ChatGPT-4, who asked it to solve tricky math problems, and it got them right. Then he asked it to write a poem that proved a math fact. Not just to answer a question, write a creative poem about math that was also logically correct. ChatGPT-4 did it. Bubeck and his colleague were so shocked they said they almost fell out of their chairs. Scientists on one side said, "This is incredible. The AI is reasoning. It's actually thinking through problems just like we do." They called this sparks of artificial general intelligence, or AGI. AGI means that an AI can do any mental task that a human can do. Not just one specific thing, but everything. But scientists on the other side said, wait, just because it looks like thinking doesn't mean it is thinking. A very fancy autocomplete machine that has read everything ever written might just be very good at copying patterns without understanding anything at all. Imagine a parrot that has listened to thousands of conversations. It can say words that sound exactly right for any situation, but does it understand what it's saying? That's the question at the heart of the AI debate. And here's the honest answer. Nobody knows for sure. Not even the scientists who build these programs. The technology moves so fast and the math inside is so complicated. That even experts are still figuring it out. What we do know is this. AI can do things that would have seemed like magic just 10 years ago. Whether that's real intelligence or the world's most impressive guessing game is one of the biggest questions of our time. The 70-year-old dream. Where did AI come from? Can a machine think? That's one of the oldest questions in computer science. And the answer depends on another question. What does thinking even mean? Back in 1950, a brilliant mathematician named Alan Turing asked exactly that. Instead of trying to answer it directly, which is very hard, he came up with a clever trick. He said, imagine a person is typing questions to two strangers behind a screen. One stranger is human, the other is a computer. If the person asking questions can't tell which is which, then maybe the computer is intelligent enough to call it thinking. This became known as the Turing test, and people are still arguing about it today. But here's the problem one philosopher noticed: a magic box. You type in any question and it prints out a perfect answer. Sounds smart, right? But what if the box is just looking up answers in a giant list? The way you look up a word in a dictionary. The box has no idea what any of it means. It's just matching question to answer. The philosopher called this a blockhead. Something that acts intelligent but has no intelligence at all. Like a very convincing puppet that has no strings and no puppet master. Just clever mechanics. So, does it matter how something thinks or just that it thinks? Scientists have been arguing about this for over 70 years. And it all started with a summer project that got a little out of hand. In 1955, a computer scientist named John McCarthy came up with the term artificial intelligence while writing a funding proposal. He and a small group of brilliant scientists planned to spend one summer solving it. They wanted to teach machines to use language, form ideas, and solve problems. Simple, right? That summer turned into 7 decades, and we're still working on it. Interestingly, not everyone liked the name artificial intelligence. Some thought the word artificial sounded fake and unserious. One scientist preferred automata studies. Another called their work complex information processing. There were even suggestions like neural cybernetics and applied epistemology. But McCarthy wanted a name that sounded exciting, that would grab people's attention and funding. AI won. From the very beginning, AI scientists split into two camps. One believed you could teach a machine to think by writing down all the rules of logic, step by step, like giving it a giant recipe book for reasoning. The other group believed machines should learn for themselves, the way a brain does, by looking at millions of examples and finding patterns. This second approach, called neural networks, seemed less promising at first, but it's exactly what powers all of today's AI boom. Science fiction played a huge role too. The word robot came from a 1920 play about machines that forced labor. Movies like The Terminator made people fear AI. Others, like Her, made people imagine falling in love with it. Many of the scientists building AI today grew up watching these films and dreaming of making those stories real. One researcher building a little robot companion for elderly people said something very wise. Why are we so focused on making AI seem human? Because it's hard for us to imagine something else. And maybe that's the real lesson of AI's history. We've been dreaming of thinking machines for centuries. We keep imagining them human-like, emotional, powerful, and that dream shapes what we build, what we fear, and what we argue about. The question, can a machine think, turns out to be a mirror. The answer we give says as much as it does about the machine. Who's really in charge of AI, and should we trust them? So, now you know what AI is, sort of. You know that scientists argue about it, that nobody fully understands what's inside it, and the dream of thinking machines goes back 70 years. But here's the most important question of all. Who gets to decide what AI becomes? Because AI isn't just a science experiment. It's being built right now by real companies with real money, by real people who have their own ideas, their own dreams, and their own blind spots. Let's think about it this way. Imagine a group of kids is building a treehouse. The kid with the most wood, the most tools, and the loudest voice gets to make most of the decisions. Even if the other kids have great ideas, they might not get heard. The treehouse ends up reflecting what that one kid wanted, not what would work best for everyone. That's a little bit like what's happening with AI right now. The companies building the most powerful AI are mostly based in a small number of wealthy countries. The people running them tend to be very rich, very powerful, and importantly, they share some very big ideas about the future. Many of them believe that AI isn't just a useful tool. They believe it could be the most transformative technology in the history of humanity, capable of solving disease, poverty, and even death itself. Some even believe that building powerful AI is a moral obligation, something we must do for the good of the human race. That's an enormous amount of confidence, and it comes with an enormous amount of pressure. If you believe you're building something that will save the world, you probably move very fast. And when you move very fast, you might not stop to ask, save the world for whom exactly? Some researchers point out a serious problem with this way of thinking. When the people deciding AI's future are mostly focused on grand futuristic ideas, like colonizing other planets or making humans live forever, they might be overlooking the problems that are happening right now. Problems like AI systems that treat some people unfairly, or AI tools that benefit rich countries more than poor ones, or the environmental cost of running enormous AI computers. Are we trying to build something useful? Asked one researcher. Or are we just trying to build it because we can? And then there's the language problem. One tech leader described AI as a new kind of digital species. Not a tool, but something almost alive. That sounds exciting, but it also makes AI sound more powerful and mysterious than it might actually be. And if we think of AI as a kind of creature with its own agency, we might forget that humans made it, and humans can shape it, control it, and change it. Words matter enormously. The way we talk about AI shapes what we think it is, what we think it can do, and who we think should be in charge of this. So, what do we do with all of this? The honest answer is nobody knows for sure how this will all turn out. AI is genuinely new. The questions it raises are genuinely hard. And the people with the loudest voices don't always have the best answers. But here's something true. These decisions don't only belong to scientists and billionaires. They belong to all of us. The apps we choose to use, the politicians we vote for, the questions we ask, all of these things matter. The most important thing any of us can do right now is exactly what you've been doing these past 4 episodes. Asking questions, thinking carefully, and not just believing something because someone powerful says it's true. AI is not magic. It's not a monster. It's not a savior. It's a set of powerful tools being built by humans, shaped like human ideas for a human future. And what the future looks like, that part is still up to us.